I'm back with another video. We're going to talk about King David. I'm going to start this King David series for you brothers, proving that he was a light-skinned black man in America. If he was living today, he'd be that. He looked very similar to Steph Curry. Between Steph Curry, I say Michael Ealy, Chris Brown, that kind of range. All right, but he's going to say why King David was dark. I know for a fact I'm a million% sure that King David was not a dark-skinned dude. You know, he's trying to say he looked like Wesley Snipes. He did not. Believe me. All right. So we're going to get into this, and I'm going to have different parts to this series, giving deeper breakdowns on why he was ruddy and why ruddy means light skin in the Bible. And it's not mentioned that many times in the scriptures. Let's see what this brother got to say.
This Russian icon of King David, you know, King David was depicted as a so-called dark-skinned man.
That is not a dark-skinned guy. That dude looks light brown, tan, goldish.
You know? But we're going to go into the scriptures and prove that it's not telling you that he's white. Neither is it's telling you that he's like a real light-skinned brother.
He is.
You know?
Right.
King David was a dark-skinned man.
No, he wasn't.
And let's read this. This is 1 Samuel 16 and verse 12. It says, and he sent... let's start from 11. So this is the account where Samuel was sent to anoint the new king, you know, which was King David. And he's going amongst Jesse's sons, basically looking for King David, you know. So I'm going to start from 11. It says, and Samuel said unto Jesse, are here all thy children? And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, right? It says now he was ruddy and withal of a beautiful countenance.
Absolutely, meaning he has a pretty face. Ruddy is talking about his complexion. All right, what we call today light skin. In the medieval time period, we would call it tawny. In the ancient world, they called it ruddy. I'll tell y'all all the time, y'all can look up the dark-skinned Hebrews found great beauty in clear, ruddy complexion, meaning clear brown complexion. All right? Meaning he also says a beautiful countenance. What is light-skinned dudes known for? We know for being extremely good-looking. All right? Why do you think you have all these light-skinned nigga be light memes everywhere? What do light-skinned brothers get made fun of for? Always being in the mirror or being too handsome or whatever.
Goodly to look to, and the Lord said, arise, anoint him, for this is he. And really, when you read the scripture, it actually breaks down what ruddy is going into. It says, and withal of a beautiful countenance. That's exactly what it means to say that King David was ruddy. He was glowing. You know, he was a good-looking brother.
Yes, he was bright. He had red skin, like light brown, reddish skin. That's what it's talking about. It's not talking about, yeah, he was an attractive dude. He had, like most light-skinned dudes, what we known for? We know for being good-looking. We're known for being attractive, for being pretty boys. I say it all the time in the Black American community.
You know, a handsome brother. And actually, you got here in the NIV. Let's read the same scripture, but in the NIV.
Now, the King James version, they claim is it is the most accurate version of the scriptures. But he's going to get into the NLT and all that other stuff and their translation, and they're translating it to him being dark. And brothers got to dig way deeper than that. You know, you can go even in the Blue Letter Bible, what these dudes use, and it literally tells you that what ruddy means. It means a clear brown complexion. But we're going to dig deep. I'm going to make certain parts to it.
It says,
going deeper in this.
So he sent for him and had brought him in. He was glowing with health and had a fine appearance and handsome features. That's the spirit. I didn't even know that I didn't even plan on going into this translation, you know, but that's the spirit. That's exactly what it means when it says King David was ruddy. You know, he was glowing with health, had a fine appearance and
Right, he was glowing with health, talking about his complexion, but his complexion is red. It's like you have a homeboy in the hood. You call him red. The term ruddy means red. All right. Now, it's not talking about the same red as the Caucasian. You got to remember that the color red is what you call an archetype. I mean, he has various shades to it, just like the color brown is an archetype. You have various shades to it, right? Light brown to dark brown, light red to dark red. All right, but that's what it's talking about. His complexion. He had a healthy tan look to him. All right.
Handsome features. He was a handsome brother, man.
That sound like light skinned dudes today, but let's
glowing.
Keep going.
You know, he looked healthy. It says, then Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai said, rise and anoint him. This is the one. I also want to get this in another translation. You know, that's the spirit. Check this out. This is the NLT. It says, so Jesse sent for him. He was dark. He was dark and handsome.
Brothers got to do. Y'all got to go deeper than that. That's not what it's talking about. Believe me.
With beautiful eyes. So even these damn Edomites who translated this in these different translations, they understood that ruddy didn't mean.
But what I just said about ruddy being red, and how I said ruddy, you got a homeboy in the hood called Red, or like Malcolm X was called Detroit Red, or Red's Z. That doesn't mean, like in the scriptures, it calls the Caucasian red. But there's a reason why he says he calls the light-skinned black men ruddy or red and the Caucasian red. It's because the Caucasian literally came out looking red, like red, like bloodshot red when he was born. Like when it says Esau was born, he came out red, bloodshot red, and he was covered in hair. Shaggy. All right, but he didn't want you to get the light-skinned Negroes confused with the Caucasian. That's why he changed it to ruddy, but that's, you get the proper context, but we'll go.
They understood that ruddy didn't mean that he was necessarily a white man or a light-skinned brother. They understood that it just meant he was glowing. He was handsome. Yeah. You know, and in the NLT, these scholars even go on to say that he was dark.
No, he wasn't dark.
You know? That's actually a plain and beautiful scripture and cut to show that the Israelites.
They're trying to promote that all dark-skinned Israelite stuff. It's not.
We're dark people. I'm gonna read that again in the NLT. You can pretty much close the lesson with that, right? It says,
you can.
So Jesse sent for him. He was dark and handsome. King David was dark, a dark-skinned man, and he was handsome. You know, that's plain. It says with beautiful eyes. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai said, this is the one, anoint him. That's plain. King David was a dark man.
No,
you know, the Judites were dark people.
Not all of them.
You know? So going back, that's pretty plain. Right? This is going to be a pretty quick video. That kind of makes it plain. So it's just talking about when it says ruddy, it's just saying basically he was a man of a beautiful countenance, you know, a handsome brother. You know,
he was a handsome, ruddy brother. I mean, he's a handsome, light-skinned, red-boned brother. That's what it means.
Looking brother. Right, and when you go to the account here with David and Goliath, when you read here, it says, I'm going to start from 41. This is 1 Samuel 17 and verse 41.
And if you have common sense, you can just break this down. It's talking about the colorism that was going on at the time. I tell you that colorism is nothing new. It's in the Bible everywhere. All right. Well, let's see what I'm going to break down.
It says, and the Philistine came on and drew near unto David, and the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him.
What is disdain? Disdain means he has a lack of respect for David. Now let's see why he disdained David.
Right? It says, for he was but a youth and ruddy. So
why? Because David was young and he was ruddy. Ruddy means he's ruddy means he is light-skinned. He is a red bone. All right? So he had a lack of respect for because they was about to fight each other. All right? So he looked at David. He seen that David was ruddy and he was youth. He was of youth. All right? Just like today. Imagine a guy like LeBron James and Steph Curry. They're about to fight each other. All right? And you see a lot of dark-skinned brothers. They have a lack of respect for light-skinned brothers. All right? They call them softs. They call them pretty boys. They say they can't fight. So when they get in a confrontation with one, what do? They bring up their complexion or they underestimate them based off how they look. It's the same dynamic thousands of years later. All right, so that's what it's talking about. But let's keep going.
Why would he disdain him just because he was light-skinned?
just like y'all do now. Y'all have a lack of respect for light skinned brothers. It's not the same thing that's going on back then is the same thing going on now. There's nothing new underneath the sun.
Or according to the role, he was white. That's not what that's saying. He disdained him because he's looking at him like, this is a little pretty boy. What can he?
Yes, just like y'all call light skinned dudes now pretty boys. We're gonna go deep, and I'm gonna make some parts to this. I'm gonna break it down.
Do with me. You know, he was a handsome brother. He's like he's just a little pretty guy. He's not a man of war. He doesn't look like he's been through a lot of wars.
Yeah, like the light-skinned black man. People look at the light-skinned black man as feminine, especially amongst black Americans. Y'all view them as feminine. Y'all view them as soft. If you look at a brother like Steph Curry doesn't look like a man of war. He just doesn't. You know? Versus a guy like LeBron, he looks like a gladiator. He looks a warrior. So that's the whole point. All right?
It's a little pretty boy. You know?
Exactly.
Pretty much today, like if somebody's talking stuff and they're just like they clean cut and they damn a pretty boy, man. You know?
Bro, it's extremely rare. You can have two dark skinned cats, right? One is not that good looking and one is good looking. Nobody underestimates dark skinned dudes for being good looking. Nobody do. All right, that's what you do to light brown dudes. But I'm gonna go deeper.
You're like, what the hell? I'm gonna smash this guy, man. You know, I'm gonna beat this guy. That's pretty much how the Philistine looked at David. That's how Goliath looked at David.
Yeah, it's kind of how you see it every day. You see how Kwame Brown had a lack of respect for Matt Barnes. I mean, I can give you thousands of examples, but I'm gonna go strictly on the color ruddy, and I'm gonna break it down to a T. Ruddy just means various shades of brown, but it means of a reddish, tannish brown. But I'm gonna go to it.
He's nothing but a little pretty boy, man. You know, it says, and when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth and ruddy, right, and of a fair countenance. And once again, I'm gonna read this in
fair means handsome. All right.
The 40 Salaki in the NIV as well. It says, and he looked David over and saw that he was a little more than a boy, glowing with health and handsome, and he despised him. So he said, this is a little boy, man. He looks healthy. He looks like he'd never been in a fight before. He's just a handsome little brother. You know, that's how the Philistine looked at David. You know, so that's what it means to be ruddy. It doesn't mean King David was white. You know, it doesn't mean King David had a red complexion. It means he was glowing with health and he was handsome.
No, it doesn't. It means that he has a red complexion. And not only has he has a red, ruddy complexion, he's glowing in health. So I'm gonna break it down.
You know, that's literally what it's speaking about. That's pretty plain, man. Let's go to I believe it's rest of Esther 7.
I think Esther was ready, I think.
Let me see.
Am I tripping? I think we're getting mixed up.
Bear with me. God, this is what I want to hear. This is additions to Esther 6 and verse 5. It says, and she was ruddy.
Meaning light skin. She was the perfection of beauty. Absolutely. Her countenance was cheerful. All right. And very admirable. But her heart, her mind was in anguish of fear.
Right? Through the perfection of her beauty.
Absolutely.
You see, she was ruddy through the perfection of her beauty. Is that saying she was white through the perfection of her beauty, or she was red through the... That's not what it... That's not...
That is what it means. It means light skin, dude. That's the colorism that was going on. You can look up the dark skinned Hebrews found great beauty in the ruddy complexion, clear ruddy complexion, which I'm going to go into.
What is saying at all? That wouldn't even...
Just like today. You had Cat Williams who said, weird light-skinned face wives, and he was shaming him for dark-skinned dudes for getting with light-skinned girl, because they've been doing that. They've been chasing out the lighter-skinned partners. They've been doing that. It's not nothing new, which I'm going to go deep.
Makes sense. It says she was ruddy through the perfection of her beauty, saying she had like a beautiful countenance. She was...
Right, like most light-skinned people, they're known for having prettier faces than everybody. They look better than everybody, including white people. It's not You're talking about her complexion and her features.
Glowing, you see? And her countenance was cheerful and very amiable, but her heart was in anguish for fear. So Ruddy is just going into having a healthy look, looking good. You know? So that's what
But it's also talking about the complexion. Ruddy means something, dude. It has a meaning to it. It doesn't just mean healthy. Alright?
Talking about with King David. Like I said, this is just going to be a quick video. It's not really that in depth. You don't really have to go that deep to kind of give the understanding, you know? But you'll have a lot of people scoff and say, see, King David was ready. You know, they go into the word. See, it's red. But sometimes the blue letter goes off. You know, because I believe if you go into the blue letter, it'll tell you, like, he was red or something like that.
That's what it's talking about.
See, red, Ruddy of Esau as an infant. You see?
You got to understand context, brother. Ruddy and red is two different things. That's why they use two different words for it. All right, he didn't want you to get the Caucasian mixed up with the so-called light-skinned Negro. That's why they did it like that. Because when Esau was born, he came out bloodshot red. When we call light-skinned dudes red, we don't literally call them red like they look like blood. No, that's what the Caucasian looked like when he was born. The light-skinned Negro is of a brown or reddish, brown, tannish color. So we call them red. All right.
But look, check this out. When you go into the strong definition, oh God, yeah, they go off, man. They go off. But that's why even the translator understood that they were going off, man. You know, when you go to these different translations, they tell you he was just glowing with health or he was handsome. And I can't get over this. Translation here, right? This is a beautiful translation because it literally in the NLT. 1 Samuel 16:12. So Jesse sent for him, and he was dark and handsome. So they even went on to tell you that King David was a dark man. Just for anybody who had any confusion and might read that word ruddy and think he was white.
And when they say dark, that lets you know that they wasn't talking about a Caucasian. All right, that it's talking about a man of color. But I'm gonna go into the term ruddy.
Or he was light skinned, like a real light skinned brother. Almost appearing as if he was red. That they made it clear that no, he was dark and handsome with beautiful eyes. That's what it means to be ruddy, to look healthy, to look handsome, you know. And King David was a dark man. And when you go here, once again, this is a Russian icon of King David.
That's it on this video. I'm gonna make a part 2, but King David, I'm gonna do a video on him. I'm gonna make different parts of this, go into the word ruddy, and give you guys a real deeper meaning behind it, and different translations and we're going to start this series. I'll see you on the next one.